Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Colton Kielbasa, flyweight fighter who is fresh off his win on Kangoo Fight Night number 30. Hello, Colton. How are you?
Yo, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Colton, you just won your fight. It was your another win in pro MMA. So, if you can tell me, how do you feel after this bout?
Man, I feel good. I'm really happy with it. It was coming back from a loss and then an injury. So yeah, it was a long time. Like I really wanted that win, and I'm glad I got it.
And the fighter that you faced was actually quite experienced one. And did you feel before this fight that he may create some challenges for you because of his experience?
Yeah, he's definitely an experienced fighter. You're breaking up. Yeah, he's definitely an experienced fighter. So I was like, all right, I've watched a bunch of his fights. He had a lot of fights, and I knew he would definitely cause some problems, and he was going to come ready to fight. So yeah, it was a good fight to have and good win to get.
And actually, like 5 weeks before this fight, you fought against very good prospects in James Clark. And
Yeah.
did you think that if you would win the fight against Clark, you would get like a big opportunity for maybe one, maybe some other like big organization?
Um. Yeah. That was the goal, right? That was the plan. I didn't have a good fight. He did well. He got the job done and he won. So then immediately, I wasn't happy and I was like, "Fuck it, I need to fight again. I got to get that back. I got to get that bad taste out of my mouth." And so I was like, "Just book me a fight right now, and yeah, let's go get it done."
But probably it's a very good thing that you take the other fight just few weeks after that one because right now you started your winning streak probably.
Yes. Yeah. I don't like. I like being active. It's staying out. I had an injury after I fought in Japan, and then so I wasn't able to fight, and that sucks. Not being able to fight. Like still training once I was recovered, but then still not being able to fight, and it's if I'm not injured and I'm healthy and I want to stay as active as I possibly can. Like right now I'm looking for fights maybe in June, and I'm just working out where and when.
It's probably this like Thai lifestyle that you are not fighting one or twice a year, but you want to like constantly get a fights.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. Living here, like in the West, and like I'm in America, like fighting such a big deal, and it's not. It's a big deal here too, but it's very common to be very active, win, lose, or draw. Like, okay, on to the next one. Let's go again. Let's get another fight. It's about like trying to not necessarily like hanging up on your losses, but it's like, all right, I fucking lost. Like, let's fix it and let's fight again and let's get another win.
And because of that, you can like build your winning streak quite quickly, not in like 2 or 3 years, but in maybe like 6 or 8 months.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? Like you can only do the sport for so long, right? So it's if I'm not injured, okay, I might as well fight every other month if I can. If I can, I would fight every other month. If I could fight every month and I wasn't injured and my weight's good, yeah, why not? Like I could fight every month.
And overall, I think that you are not really afraid of challenges because you fought against Clark, against Robertson. And do you want your next opponent to also be like on a quite high level who can like create some problems for you? Would you prefer to fight against this kind of opponent?
Yeah, like I don't really understand. Like I get the purpose of okay, like building a record and fighting guys and getting experience, but like there's a point when it's like okay, like let's see how good I am. Like I want to go, I want to find out, I want to challenge myself, I want to see how good I am. So every fight, I want to try and up the competition and up the pay too. Like okay, I fight here, okay, let's get a higher competition. Okay, let's get more pay. Get a higher competition, more pay. That's the goal. If you're not doing that, it's like, well, what's the point of even fighting if you're not trying to figure out how good you are?
And you are of course an American, and you are living in Thailand. So I think that it can be a quite cool story there. So if you can tell me, how did you get to Thailand?
I've been here almost 6 years now, I think. And I was in the Marine Corps before I moved to Thailand, and then I got out of the Marine Corps, and 2 weeks later I was in Thailand, and basically been here ever since. Right during COVID, me and my friend Chris Kirsch, he's another fighter as well. He was here in Bangkok too. Well, now I'm in Phuket, but before we were in Bangkok, and we went to Denmark, we went to Germany to get fights. We lived on a junkyard in Denmark. That sucks. It's crazy, but it's a fun story, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
It is also a quite interesting fact that in your first pro bout you fought in Holland, in Amsterdam to be exact, in Levels Fight Nights. So it's also a
Yep.
like not a regular thing for like American fighter to make his pro debut in Holland.
Yeah, right. Like that's the thing, right? So I was living in Thailand at that time, but it was during COVID, and Thailand was there were no fights here, right? And me and my friend, we were like, okay, we need to get fights. I want to get fights. And so I was really debating going back to America, but like to try and get fights. But my friend, he's German, and he went back to Germany like maybe a couple months before me, and he was like, hey, there's shows going on here. Come here, and we could start talking to shows and try getting a fight. So I was like, all right, cool. So I went to Germany, and then we stayed in Germany for a little bit. Slept at gyms and basically, yeah, slept at gyms and whatnot. And then we found a gym in Denmark that we knew somebody, and it was on like a junkyard and steel mill, like at this gym, and it was like the middle of winter almost in Denmark, so fucking cold. And there was no warm water. We were like training like heathens, like going outside, like flipping tires and shit, like just me and him training basically. And then yeah, so that's where that fight in Amsterdam came from, because we were just hitting up promotions like, hey, can I get a fight? Hey, can I get a fight? And then eventually LFL got it, and I was like, all right, sweet, let's go.
So maybe at that point it wasn't really fun, but right now, a few years after, it's probably a very cool story that you can tell, that you have in your head.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Honestly, even then it was so fun. It was a blast. Like he's a really good friend of mine, so like being me and him like living in a junkyard, like training we would coach a little bit, we would train a little bit, and then we would also work on the steel mill, right? And so we were doing that every day to training, working, and then coaching. Like that was basically our routine, right? And it was fun, I loved it.
And in the US, did you have a previous background in any combat sport before the MMA?
I wrestled, right? So I wrestled growing up a little bit, and then I wrestled when I was in the Marines. I wrestled in the Marine Corps a little bit too. And then as soon as I got out, and then while I was in the Marines, I kind of started to train and started to learn a bit MMA stuff like jujitsu and striking. And then when I got out of the Marines, I was like, okay, I can wrestle decently well. So I was like, I want to get better at striking. Okay, where can I get better at striking? Thailand, Muay Thai, and then yeah.
And in your fights, like we can see that you are a very good wrestler, that you can finish your opponent either by submission or ground and pound. But I also think that your striking looks really, really good, because sometimes there are fighters, grapplers, who are not really comfortable with their striking, and they just want to be on the ground, either way, by any means. But you, when you have a chance, you seems to be a really good striker right now.
Uh, yeah, just it takes time, it takes development. I was blessed and like really lucky, and I had a really, really, really good boxing coach in Bangkok. And then I also worked like he's an Iranian guy. He's 4 year Rokna. He used to be like Iranian national team and just like a phenomenal coach, and he really helped my boxing. And then there in Bangkok as well, I worked with Master Tong, the guy who used to be at Team Alpha Male. So spent a lot of time with these two guys, right? And then I come here to Phuket, and I have a really good striking coach with Sam Cassidy, like a guy here at the gym I train at, and then another guy from Kyrgyzstan, Eric Tewaz. and he's awesome, right? So like I've been really like fortunate enough to have really good coaches to help me improve my striking. And you gotta stick with it, you know. It's you gotta work at it. Like, I can't just grapple all day because eventually you're gonna run into somebody who's better at grappling than you, or just as good as you, and you're just on your feet.
And because of your grappling wrestling background, I think that you can be also a big asset for like fighters who are training in Thailand, because it's like the American wrestlers are probably one of the best, and because of your like experience, you can like be a very good coach for them.
Yeah, that's kind of part of what I do as well, right? So I help out with coaching here at Southside MMA, and then before I was here, I worked at Marak Gym in Bangkok, and man, we had a really good team. Worked with like a lot of good fighters on our team. So like, uh, I've been like fortunate enough to coach them, train with them, and work on that as well.
And what is like biggest difference between living in US and in Thailand, living and training?
So yeah, living in Phuket, right? It's super international, right? You have guys from Russia, you have guys from Kyrgyzstan, you have like Asian MMA guys, you have American. There's such an abundance of training partners here and different styles, right? Like I think that's the biggest difference between training here and training in America is you're gonna see 100 different styles here from all over the world. And mostly in America, depending on where you go, right? Like you go to a certain team and you'll see international styles. But most places in America, you're gonna get there and it's gonna be an American style type of training or wrestling or grappling, which isn't bad. It's good, you know, like it's very good, no? But it's just you see a more diversity here, much more diversity.
And there are like many fighters who are maybe not like like training in Thailand all the time, but for part of the training camps they are going there. So I think that it's also like you said, it's very good mixture of styles of like ideas.
Yes, absolutely. Like there's always bodies coming and going, which is good and bad, right? Like it's good and it has its benefits because you see a lot of different bodies, but then also if you don't have a good team around you that you can trust, like people might be coming in and maybe they're like somebody has a bit of an ego and they try to like take you out and you're like, dude, I've trained 3 times today already. Like I'm just getting like a you know, like an easy session in or something. But having a good team that you can like work with together and it's the same group of people is awesome, especially when they're from all over the world and everybody's got a different style. So you have a good group that's people you trust, people you work with, and then they're from all different parts of the world. So you're seeing 6 different styles, and you trust them, and you have good coaches. It's a good place to be, you know.
And did you think about taking like one or two Muay Thai bouts, just for fun, just to see the sport from the other side?
Yeah, I had a Muay Thai fight. I've had one Muay Thai fight. I had a Muay Thai fight last year before decided like, okay, I wanted to check my injury and make sure I was good to fight. You know, something that didn't matter, like a Muay Thai fight. Like if I win, I win. Or I lose, I lose. It really doesn't matter. You know, it's more for the experience. So I wanted to test the injury, and then after that, I was like, okay, let's get back to MMA.
And you also fought in MMA, both in the cage and in the ring. And what is the
Yes,
better place for MMA bout?
it's I like both of them, right? Like it's not. I don't want to say it's better or worse. Like in the cage, if you hit the wall, you can almost if your back's against the wall, you can almost be I don't want to say lazy, but like you have the extra defense of the wall to help you defend takedowns and you can kind of chill on the wall. And then on the ropes, it's awkward. It's very awkward. Whether you're offensive or defensive, you hit the ropes and it bounces and your hand gets caught on like a rope. Like you go for an underhook and all of a sudden you're like, shit, I'm caught. Like now you got to do something else, right? So it's not better or worse. It's just different. And like being in Asia, you're gonna fight in a cage and you're gonna fight in a ring, and it's gonna happen. So like you gotta run with it, you know.
But overall, I think that it's quite good experience because of that. When you will fight against maybe some fighter in the ring who will not who didn't have a chance to fight there, you will have this advantage that you know what to do.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, and it's cool. It's different, you know, being in Thailand, it's Muay Thai, everything's definitely a little bit striking orientated, the promotions and stuff. So like you're gonna fight in the ring and it's cool. It's a different atmosphere, it's a different feel than in the cage. In the ring, it almost feels like more of a sport. In the cage, it's like that door locks and it's like, okay, you're in there.
And you are in the Thailand for many years now. So I guess that you are not thinking about going back to US. You want to stay in Thailand.
No way. Like it's too cold. It's dangerous. It's yeah. I like my life is here in Thailand. I got animal. I got my sugar gliders here. I have a girlfriend here. I help out with coaching here. Like I have training partners. Like my life is here in Thailand. You know, I love America, but like I don't plan on going back. If I can help it, I don't plan on going back anytime soon.
And also there probably is a like different pace of life in like US or other countries and Thailand.
Yeah, of course. Man, the Thais are great people. Like you live here long enough and it's like when you sometimes it's good to get out of Thailand for a couple of days. Like I went to Bali and that's cool, you know. And and then I fought in Japan last year and like it's good to get out of Thailand for a couple of days, but then when I touch down and that plane lands in either Bangkok or Phuket, I feel like safe, you know, like I'm home.
Is it a UFC a main goal for you when you are thinking about your future, or you would like to fight more on the like Asian region and like going to maybe ONE, maybe Ryzen?
Um at UFC is the goal, right? Like there's no there's not a close second for MMA purposes, right? Like it's and if you're fighting to not try and put it to fight the best in the world, it's like why even fight? Because you can make money doing other shit, you know. And like I really enjoy fighting, and I really want to try to fight the best in the world, more for myself, right? I just want to know, you know, like okay, like can I compete with these guys? Can I beat them? Like I know how hard I train, I know what I'm able to do in a practice room, but I just got to be able to put it when the cage closes.
So maybe because you want to be busy, maybe next year there will be some chance for you to fight there.
That's the goal, right? That's why I want to stay as active as I can. Like no injuries. Like I could fight every other month if I'm able to, every month if I have to. Like yeah, that's the goal.
Do you like watch UFC fights?
Yeah, do I like to watch you? Yeah,
Yes,
all the
yes.
time.
Yes, and what do you think about flyweight division? Because even recently we have a flyweight title fight.
It's good. Yeah, the title fight was really good. Um, I I think it's almost I don't want to say open, but like there's a lot less depth at flyweight compared to the other weights, right? If you look at bantamweight, there's a lot of depth. Like their top 10 or arguably maybe they're any of their top 10 guys could probably be the champion right now. You could say that about almost like featherweight and all that, right? And honestly, even in flyweight, we almost just saw it, right? Like he did the Ursig did very well, but there's a lot more depth in the other weights compared to flyweight. And I think that's because flyweights like go to a lot of different other promotions around the world because they're smaller. And so they can have success in smaller in let's say Ryzen. Like Ryzen has a lot of good flyweights. Who else? Like Brave does as well. Like yeah. One has a lot of good flyweights as well. So like it's spread out across the world in for flyweights.
And if you are watching flyweight bouts, do you like watch as the fighter? So you are like looking for maybe some mistakes, maybe the like ideas how to beat the fighters that you are watching.
Um yeah, sometimes I watch yeah, honestly I don't really only get excited when I watch fights, like when I watch my friends fight, like friends or somebody I coach or somebody I know, like that's when I get like excited watching fights. Other times I mostly just watch the fights for like, oh that's good or oh that's bad or like oh like that's like good technique, you know, like that's what I enjoy watching the fights for that. But if I'm watching my friends and stuff, my friends fight or or if I go to corner somebody, man, I get so nervous when I corner or coach somebody, like almost more nervous than when I fight. It's crazy.
Yes, because when you are fighting, you are more of in control what is happening, and when you are outside of the ring or the cage, you really can't. You can like give advices.
Yes, yeah, it's stressful for sure.
And right now, or maybe in like near future, do you want to be a coach, like coach a UFC level fighters, like creating them from the beginnings? So let's say that like 17 or 18-year teenager will go to you, and you will try to make him a UFC caliber fighter. Do you plan something like this?
Yeah, absolutely. I love coaching. I've been coaching for a long time actually. So when I got out of high school, I immediately before I joined the Marine Corps, I started coaching and helping out like with high school programs, right? And then I joined the Marines, and then when I finally like got to where I was stationed, I started coaching at an MMA gym there, like a local MMA gym there. And then so I moved to Thailand, and then I was helping out with the wrestling at the first gym I went to, right? And then I moved to Bangkok and I was coaching, and then I came here and now I'm helping out and I'm coaching a lot as well. So like I've been coaching probably since I was 18 and I'm 28 now, so I've been coaching like 10 years now.
So from your perspective as the coach, what is like the biggest advantage for young people for go to MMA training, like, or overall like combat sport training? What is like the one big thing for young people?
Um it's there's like a million it's very simple, right? Like consistency over time and proper training, right? Like consistency over time and proper training. If you're consistency over time and you just do shit training, it's like, okay, you might be like decent. But if you have good coaches and you stay consistent over a long period of time, you will find success eventually.
So the
But
consistency.
as simple as that is, it's like it's hard, you know. It's because people life gets in the way, or you get injured and you lose a fight, or you know stuff like that. So it's like it's training when you're injured. It's training when you don't want to train. It's training when you don't have a fight. It's being disciplined with your weight. It's you know like there's a million different things that go into it, but it's fairly simple.
And when you are like outside of the camp, do you like try to learn some maybe new techniques, or like when you know that you have a like problem with some technique, do you want to do it all the time to be better at this, or you are like more of the coach at that point when you are out of the training camp?
No, no, I'm always training. I'm always trying to learn something. Like always, right? Like if you stop learning, and the second you think you know it all, you're gonna lose, right? Like somebody's gonna catch you, right? There's always something to learn. This sport is so complex between jujitsu, wrestling, Muay Thai, boxing, whatever you want to call it, right? Like karate, like there's a million different techniques, and nobody will ever know them all. But you want to try to learn as much as you can and use what you're good at and use what you like that fits your personality.
And who is your
Mostly
favorite?
like
Yes.
mostly like when I'm in camp, I focus on what I'm gonna do to win the fight. When I'm outside of camp, I focus on what I'm bad at and what I need to improve on. And that's the way I approach it, right? Like if I'm in camp and I'm focusing on like, okay, I'm bad at this or this guy's good at this, I focus too much on the opponent instead of focusing on what I'm gonna do to win. So it's almost like I'm trying not to lose instead of trying to win, you know. But like when I'm outside of camp, it's like I'm okay. Like let's learn something, you know. Like teach me something new. Like teach me some crazy spinning shit. Like who cares, you know? Like it's new, you know. It's fun. If you got to learn something and you got to make it fun too.
So what would you think is like the area for now that you need to improve the most?
Um, striking is a big one, right? Like I really try and focus on my striking, like a lot. I really focus on my striking. I've never really had a conditioning issue, but your conditioning will go away like that, you know. Like if you stop training, like right now I'm taking a couple days off because I have like 2 or 3 stitches here. But if I didn't have this, I would be training right now. And yeah, so striking is really important, and then getting better at like jujitsu, jujitsu in its purest form, like not MMA grappling per se, but jujitsu in its purest form. You know, like pure trying to get better at pure jujitsu, and then okay, if I get ready for a fight, I take that knowledge and I just put it in my back pocket, and then okay, it's MMA now. Get on top and smash.
And you are smashing all of your opponents right now when you are on the ground.
That's the goal. That's the goal. That's the plan.
And how do you deal with this stress before your fights? Like, do you feel some additional nerves because you know that you will have to face a quite tough opponent?
So the fight before Kangaroo, the fight that I lost, it was weird, right? Like I didn't fight MMA for over a year, and then like I wasn't nervous at all before the fight, right? Like I felt no nerves, and I wasn't nervous, and I couldn't get myself nervous, and I was just like, well, like whatever, like okay, cool, I'm not nervous, like I'm just gonna go fight, like it's another day, you know. And I came and I was very flat, like the entire fight, I was very flat, and after the fight, I'm like, what the fuck, like I don't even feel like I fought, like I was just flat, you know. And then I almost like couldn't wake up. And then this fight, I was I like almost forced myself to be very nervous. And Sammy, my coach, Sam Cassidy, he was really focusing on like getting me like, hey, wake the fuck up, like you're fighting today. He kept reminding me like, hey, wake the fuck up, like you're fighting today, like let's go, like this dude's trying to knock you out, you know. And so that put me uh in made me nervous to the point where I was like, okay, I'm awake, I'm ready to go, I'm gonna go fight. And there's a weird balance, right? Like you want to be hyped up enough to where you're awake, but you don't want to be hyped up enough to where you blow your load in your first 10 seconds, you know? But if you're too flat and you're too relaxed, you're almost like you don't quite come up to the level where your head needs to be to in order to punch somebody in the face or in order to get punched in the face.
So you need to hit the perfect in between of both of this.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard to get in that mental state, you know. It's weird, and it takes practice, it takes time, and it takes like doing it if you can be as consistent as you can with it, the better you get at it. That's another reason I like staying active. So I know like, okay, this is where I need to put myself, this is where I need to put my brain. Like let's go, turn the switch on and let's go.
And outside of fighting, what do you like to do in your free time, except training?
Um like so I really, really enjoy coaching. So like if like right now I'm not training, but like before I called you, I was just at the gym coaching, right? And then in I don't know, in a couple hours, I'm gonna be at the gym again coaching. And then I have 8 sugar gliders right behind me. I love my sugar gliders. I live in Phuket, Thailand, so obviously going to the beach and stuff. And then I love Thai food. Yeah,
When you are like
it's
describing,
tough. But like being a fighter, it's like you almost don't have hobbies because all your friends are fighters. You're probably friends with coaches. Like my girlfriend, like she always like if she's not working, she comes to the gym with me. Like after she finishes work, I'm at the gym, so she'll come to the gym and she'll work out. She doesn't train, but she'll like lift weights or stuff. So it's almost like when you're a fighter, you almost have to stay in the gym, or even if you don't want to stay in the gym, you just end up you find yourself there and you're like, the fuck's going on? Like, why am I sitting here? And then all of a sudden you're helping out your friends, you're coaching somebody, and then it's like, all right, like I love this doing this, you know?
But because of that your like level of progress might be much more quicker than when, let's say, you would train only in training camp, and after this you have a like 3 months break from the gym.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Like I don't understand how people do that. Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy to me. Like if I went out of the gym for 3 months, I would probably be like 200 pounds. like I would just eat all day, you know? And yeah. But when I don't train so much, I have way too much energy, and my girlfriend she'll get annoyed with me. So I'll fuck with her and stuff like just messing with her in the house, and she's like she gets annoyed, you know? And then she's like, go train. I'm like, all right, like yeah, you're right. I need to go train.
I have one last question. Do you, if you can share like one dream that you have, but also outside of fighting, because that if we are talking about MMA, you want to be in the UFC, like fight against
Yeah.
very good fighters, but outside of this part of your life.
I really enjoy coaching. So like I said, like I really, really enjoy coaching. And then I'd like to have my own businesses. I'm not sure doing what, you know, like definitely living in Thailand. I want to open some of my own businesses and around that. But I probably the rest of my life I will be around fighting, whether it's coaching, managing or having some businesses related to fighting or something like that. Fighters are most fighters, right? And you can't say all because there's everybody's different and not everybody's perfect, but most fighters and people in the fight community are generally like good, like respectful people, like they work hard. They're like blue collar workers, they work hard. Most of them didn't come from much. They earned everything they have. And yeah, so being around fight people and or wrestling and all that community, it's all the same.
Okay, Colton. So many thanks for the conversation. I hope that you will get a few wins this year, few next year, and maybe a second part in 2025. We can see you in the UFC, like delivering another finishes.
Yeah, that's the goal. That is absolutely 100% the goal. Thank you so much for having me on.